and we thought we start the year with having a look at the draft EESSI roadmap for 2026. And yeah, so the idea is that we presented today. We probably presented also a little bit in our EESSI update meeting on Thursday. And we can, of course, discuss it today and also on Thursday. And we would like to hear back feedback from the EESSI community. And then there will be an EESSI steering committee meeting later part of February, where we hopefully can decide on the roadmap for 2026. We're a little bit late, let's say, with the process. But yeah, it's the first time that we actually have a roadmap. So, oops, what I wanted. Okay, so we have split this into 4 sections, larger sections. The first one is core infrastructure operations policy. And here we have also 4, let's say, subsections. So the first one is lifecycle governance policy. And here we have something about the version lifecycle. So at the moment, we don't have a clear policy of what's an active version versus what is an archive version. It's also not so clear for how long we want to add software to EESSI 2023-06. So that was the first production version we released. And that's what we probably should define. Then maybe you have heard about this other repository, dev.easio, which is not for production software, but for experimental installations, software that is being developed, but where we use very similar procedures for building and adding software to this repository. And at the moment, we also have no lifetime policies for installations there. So what should we set there? Should the installations be available for, let's say, a month and then we remove them, or other policies there? And then we should probably have some view on how often we make these or let's say when we do these yearly release. So we had a release 2023-06, just before summer we started that. And then in 2024 we didn't have a release, but now in 2025 we also had a release. I think it's maybe not officially documented, but the software, a lot of software is there, it's growing, and at some point we would probably also make this public that this exists. So that's all about lifecycle governance policies. Another point is about build system modernization. At the moment, I think we use about 5 to 6 different build sites, clusters we have access to or we maintain ourselves, and we want to, and sometimes we have access to the same architecture on different build sites, and we want to spread the build operations across these sites. Another point there is bot modernization. So bot is the sort of doing all the logistics for our builds and deployments. And we want to particularly look into implementing tarball analysis. So now we support 14 different architectures, and we have bundled all these builds for different architectures into a single pull request to basically ingest them on the ingest side. But there's this, at the moment, it's a manual process to inspect if the tarballs are consistent with each other, if there's something maybe missing in one for certain architecture or so. And to make this, improve this, we want to add this feature there. Then what we would also like to do is, there's some interest from the EasyBuild maintainers that we use this EasyBot to process pull requests for example, easy configs. On quality assurance and compliance, we have worked quite a lot last year on the automated license checks. I think it's more or less close so that we can edit. For the existing stacks, the plan is that we make this optional so that we gain experience with how this works and improve it. And then we would want to make this mandatory for an upcoming release of Easy. Could be Easy 2026-06. For the monitoring, we want to run more regular runs of the regression tests and the status dashboard. And for the compatibility layer, that's the base, let's say, for release. We had one in 2023-06, 2025-06, and we also plan to have one for 2026-06. And what we have until now is that every release we bundle with certain tool chains. So we have tool chains we have in 2023-06. They're different to the ones we have in 2025-06, and the same we will probably do for 2026-06. So Richard has a question.
Yes, before moving to the next slide. So basically you mentioned that the Easy 2025-06 is available, but not yet officially set in public based on the documentation.
I think it's not documented as far as I know.
But
I think
like if we make it available on the HPC clusters, it can be, and it is ready to be used, right?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Okay.
It's ready to be used. I think the idea was not to make it public before we think there's enough sufficient amount of software in there. Yeah.
I guess you mean not promote it, because it is public as soon as we start ingesting things.
Yeah, sure. It's sort of public via SermWFS, but it's not documented, not promoted, as you say.
And that's maybe one of the things we need to have a clear policy on as well. When is an easy version mature enough to be considered stable? So that's also something we should probably do documentation on, and a clearer process on, because now it's a bit up in the air and unclear.
Yeah. Okay. So the next topic is software stack and hardware targets. So one is hardware enablement, and there we want to support Blackwell GPUs. We want to support Zen 5 CPUs and the ROCm stack. And we want to add, for ARM, we want to support for AWS Graviton 4.
And 3, I think. We have optimized builds for 3.
Yeah. Don't we have already Graviton 3? Or do I mix it up for Neoverse V1 and maybe Graviton 3 is something special then?
Yeah, it is. And it's not exactly the same as V1. I think we should look into a step in between. There's a step in between Neoverse V1 and Graviton 4.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's more on the same level as NVIDIA Grace, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. At least we should look at it and see if it's worthwhile having up.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, and for software portfolio, we would like to focus more on AI ML software, so particular PyTorch, TensorFlow, AlphaFold, software like this. There's sort of some volume goal. I don't know if we will sort of stick to this exact number, but sort of increasing the number of software packages that are already supported by EasyBuild. I think it's a worthwhile goal, and I think we also have the infrastructure available to reach that.
And this may happen anyway, even if we don't make it an explicit goal. We're heading in that direction anyway.
Yeah. Okay. And for the tool chains, we will think 2025B we don't have yet, and 2025 or 6, but that's something we can probably add. We can at least consider, and then for
actually, I think we do. This was done in end of December, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, FOSS should be there. I think not much on top yet.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
Okay. So then it's easy to have it on the roadmap. Yeah. And for the next release of EESSI, we consider 2026A and B, or whatever EESSI build decides what the toolchain version is this year. Any questions on that? Any comments?
There's a question in the chat.
I don't see that. Maybe you can read it for me.
So basically, Miguel Costa is asking, any plans to include the new FOSS LLVM toolchain?
Yeah, the answer is basically yes. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons actually we looked into adding 25B to the latest EESSI version already, because that's groundwork to add the LLVM based FOSS as well. So yeah, there's no reason why we wouldn't include that as well.
Okay. May I go on to the next topic? That's user experience integration. So we have sort of would like to work on the direct user interaction. So we think about a command line interface tool. I think there already exists a little prototype for this, and we probably want to look more into this. So that would mean that we have separate interface beyond the module system, which could maybe in the background just use the module interface. And then for the discovery, I don't know if I can maybe open this. So we have now, if you know, we have a quite large page listing all the software packages that are available. And then so that's a table where it shows for which architectures it is available, CPU architectures, and basically it shows that every software is available for all architectures. And we would like to improve that. I can try to open this. Now I'm different. I think it's now probably not visible, right? No. Okay, then I just... Now I have... Maybe I just have to start this again. Is this now visible again? Do you see the slides?
Not yet.
Not yet. Oh, that's interesting. It's always a surprise what you get.
We see no screen share at all, Thomas, just to be clear.
Yeah. Display menu. That's a bit... I'm sorry for that, for technical trouble. First EESSI Happy Hour, everything goes sideways. I can... No, that's not what I want. Okay, stop the share. Okay, I just start this again. I go back to this and then... Here it is. Do you see it? No? How does this look?
That's the slide 4.
Slide 4?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I just try to show this mock-up a little bit later. Okay, so then for feedback transparency, we saw that maybe it's interesting to have a software wish list. Yeah, so we maybe some mechanism, some anonymous forms where users can request software to be added, and maybe it could trigger some documentation PRs that says, okay, so this software is requested, and then also have some kind of work in progress view where we have an overview of the PRs that users have open or maybe that are just open to so that users can see what softwares are coming. We also think about workflow integration, so prototype, Nextflow, and spec integration. For spec, there was a recent, I think last Friday I saw a blog post about this. So it could be interesting. And then for CI/CD, we would like to promote more the use of EESSI in CI/CD pipelines. We had a nice hackathon at the user days, or after the user days in I think in October last year, and we would like to do more on that side. And for scientific compliance, we would like to enhance the fairness of the software installations. So what I think what EESSI solves quite well right now is that you can reuse the software. It's sort of interoperable with your system. It's of course accessible, but sort of finding or accessing the specific version of the software, specific installation that I think we can improve. Okay, last topic is community outreach sustainability. So last year we worked quite a bit on establishing governance. We have a steering committee. We have policies for governance and charter and all that. And we would like to look more into sustainability. And we thought about joining Linux Foundation and the High Performance Software Foundation. For community engagement, we want to continue this kind of events, so the happy hours, hackathons, and of course training. And then what we have not done so far is any kind of user survey. Of course, when we had events, we did some survey for the event, but not sort of any kind of annual user survey. And of course, EasyBuild has this for a long time. It could be good to do a similar survey, or maybe sort of integrate it a bit into the EasyBuild survey. It's a bit unclear how to do this, but that could be very worthwhile to get feedback.
Yeah, maybe it makes sense to decouple this a bit from the EasyBuild survey, which is already quite big. And it may hurt participation, actually, if we make it even bigger. And maybe the timing for the survey on EESSI should be a bit different as well. I'm thinking more like collecting results in time for ISC. And then if we have a birds of a feather session, for example, on EESSI at ISC, we can share the results of the survey there. So let's say hold a survey in April, May, and then share results in June. Probably makes more sense for EESSI.
Yeah, and then we also would like to track map system sites that have adopted EESSI. We already have a long list of sites that do this, or systems that are where EESSI is available. But of course, it's always good to know this, and maybe we can also show to people that EESSI is available on many systems. Our last point is on dissemination marketing. So I think every now and then we have a presentation about EESSI, and it would be good to have some standard slide deck for within the multi-X-Scale project. We have developed the elevator pitch, but that also included sort of the scientific part of EESSI, of the multi-X-Scale project. I think we could do something more focused on EESSI itself. And then, of course, as we already do, I think quite well, is to do these blog updates, and could try to do it on a at least monthly basis. And last, about conferences, so there will be some talks at FOSDEM in about 2 weeks. Of course, we want to participate in the Zero HPC Summit at IC, EasyBuild user meeting and Euro HPC user days, and maybe also other events. That's all what I think I had. There is, before maybe opening for questions, so we also continue next week. The topic, maybe there's some ideas about the topic, but we will announce this shortly. Okay, then can have some questions. Maybe I saw that there are maybe some comments on chat.
Yeah, I was mostly sharing links to like the mock-up and to the blog posts
Okay.
that you mentioned.
Okay, so then I don't have to open this.
Not sure if anyone has any questions on the roadmap.
Maybe you can just go and just go back to the topics, and if anyone has a comment or wish question, then yeah, Lois, please.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. It was mostly a comment about I thought about versioning and the way you define an easy version or an easy release. Like from the perspective of a new user, let's say you're a new user, you're discovering easy, and you see there are 2 versions available. So by default, you will say, okay, I want to use the latest version, which is 2025. But then it may look weird for the fact that it's not fully completely there. And then also software in the 2023 version are still being added from time to time. So like the definition of version of a release, I'm not sure it's super clear from a user's perspective. Have you ever thought about that? What do you think?
I think it's good feedback, and I think it's something we should definitely think a bit more on. You're right. I mean, the natural thing would be, of course, you use the latest version, right? But then you may actually be missing out on software that's only available in the 23 version, not in 25 yet. There's also differences between these versions in terms of how they're structured, organized. Most of that is in the details, but also that is currently not really well documented. So we should definitely.
Yeah, I do understand. It's just typically, if I think about the software, when I see a release of a certain version, I will think, okay, that's the version, and it's frozen, and so I'm using that version. But instead, this can change. So that's something, a concept that's slightly different from a software version.
Yeah, so it's not so clear how to navigate these versions, and so maybe this command line tool could be a sort of helper that you could just ask, what are these versions, and what should I use when I want to run GROMAX, for example.
Yeah, and also the applications sometimes have a version number in there. Huh? If you want to run the OpenFOAM version 24.06, you think, oh, I need a 24 stool chain or something, maybe, which is not true, but yeah. Try to be as clear as possible in the easy case.
Is this partially a terminology problem? Do we need a different term than version?
I think if you're using EasyBuild and you're using Easy for a long time, then you're using all these terms interactive. But the user who is just new, it's always confused.
I think the term version could be confusing. I think it, like for us, what it means, the thing that is constant, as Laura says, is the underlying compatibility layer, right? That is fixed in terms of version. But then that software layer on top is just rolling out new releases. So I can see how that's confusing. I'm not sure if like naming it differently, like something else than version is better, or whether we should do a better job of explaining that this actually refers to the compatibility layer that is fixed. I don't know.
Glenn has raised his hand.
But again, how would you put like the tool chains which is supported in the specific version in the naming so that it becomes clear for the user. And even some users don't know what toolchains are. They just load the modules and
No, exactly.
yeah.
I have quite a different opinion. So I don't think we should be telling users about easy versions at all. And so I think you should just be telling them how to use Module Spider GROMACS. So if right now it doesn't work, but if Spider worked at the level of below the easy versions, then it would just say Module Spider GROMACS would just return, if you want to use GROMACS this version or that version, you load this and this and this module. And so you have to load the easy module first with that version. But you don't necessarily have to make a big fuss out of that. You just have to just be something that they do to use Module Spider. It's a hierarchy. That's what it would be. It's a hierarchy with easy at the bottom.
But it's a bit more complex than that. That works if you only have a single software package, but if you want to combine multiple things, they may be spread across different easy versions, and then there's no single setup you can do to everything.
But that would be true anyway, right? I mean, if you're trying to combine packages in two different easy versions, it's irrelevant.
Yeah, but module version will not help you then in any way. You cannot, I mean, you have to sort of be an expert user already to realize what's going on. Say you're looking for software A and software B, and they're not available in the same easy version. Module Spider will tell you that if you're paying close attention. But then you're stuck and you don't really know what to do. I mean, there's no magic tool that can solve this, maybe, but so it goes beyond. All I'm saying, it goes beyond a single software that you want to use. We have to factor in the use case of using multiple things as well.
But that's not. But that problem still exists regardless of what you want to call easy versions, right?
It does.
It's not solvable. It's not solvable because it's two different compat layers.
I'm not sure if it's not solvable. I think with a tool like the easy command line thing, maybe you can do something that's feasible. You imagine a job script where you use A and B, right? You first use A, then you use B. If you have an easy way of switching or changing your software environment so that A is active, and then when you're done with A, you can make B active very easily, maybe that takes away a lot of the pain and people don't have to care that things are actually in a different ecosystem, different environment. If you're using A and B at the same time, that's a different story.
Yeah, I mean, the complication is when somebody wants to build something, things like that, right? So then, like if you hide away these things too much, people assume that you can just combine them, which you can't, right? I mean, running an executable is one thing, but like trying to build something that uses this dependency and that dependency and stuff, that's something that completely different.
Yeah.
I think maybe we should really rethink the whole like version term. Maybe we should call it generation or something. There must be something that is, because version gives you expectations indeed that things are static, right? Things are fixed. Okay, you've made a release, now it's done. And that's really not the case here.
Yeah.
Because if we call it something else, like generation, okay, and then we can say, okay, what does that mean, generation, right? And then we can specify, okay, this means you have one version of the compatibility layer. It means we stick to these and these and these toolchains for this generation, etc.
That could help.
And then we can also explain you cannot combine between generations, right? You can only use, if you want to use all software at the same time, it needs to be from the same generation.
Maybe, and just an idea, what if we just set a notification when a user loads easy, any version, just telling them you can check for more available versions on the web page of the documentation where they can search for different available software in easy. So even if they load, for example, the 2023-06, the notification still tells them that other versions are still available in easy 2023-06, 25-06, or the vice versa.
Maybe we need to do things more, but if we do that too aggressively, people will go blind to them very soon. If you keep getting the same message again and again, you just stop reading it and you ignore it. And you also need to give them tools within the terminal, I think, not just point them to an external web page. For some people that will work. Others will really want to figure things out in the environment that they are in and not having to jump between terminal and web page, and so it's a complex problem. But we can definitely do better than we're doing right now. You just have to think about it a bit and pull in multiple opinions as well. Maybe come up with multiple proposals or examples of how this could be done. And these happy hours could be a nice way to get feedback on ideas. Yeah.
Okay. Other comments on this part?
Yeah, and then comment on Snellius, for example, the user is used to just do module load 2025. And that's his command, and then he loads his software. He never knew that he knows that he's doing 25A or something, or GCC 13.30 or whatever. And yeah, that is where they come from. And now they have to go to easy, and then it's different. So you also have to take a look at how the people are used to work with all those modules. And
is that an argument to stick to a single tool chain within an easy? What's now an easy?
No, not. But it's an argument. It's a way where people come from to help them land on an easy environment, I would say. So maybe you call it environment or instead of version.
Yeah, I think indeed we call it something like, if you look at our prefix, it's something like environment, something /environment, and that contains the 2023, 2024. It also contains the easy modules, actually. Just consider that another environment that you can load.
Yeah, okay. That was my...
Okay, jumping to this software stack hardware targets. Any thoughts about this?
Yeah, you're going to enable the support for example, Zen 5. Does it also mean that the 2306 easy version will have that? Or
have you thought about this? Zen 5?
The idea is to only adopt new CPU targets for the current latest easy version and future ones.
Okay.
So today that would mean we add Zen 5 for 2506. We don't add it for 2306. Also, practically, that would make a lot of sense because in 2306 we have older compilers which don't know about Zen 5 yet, older versions of libraries like OpenBLAS. It would be technically quite a challenge. So only going forward, essentially. Yeah. Well, for this slide, I do have another question. What about RISC-V, Thomas? It's not mentioned at all. We should probably have something in the roadmap that says this is actively being developed, worked out, studied, experimented with, whatever. I don't think we can make any hard promises for 2026, but we should make it clear that we're actively looking into this as well.
I mean, now, at least for 2025-06, we have the compat layer for it in the production repository. No software there, but at least the compat layer. So that's
no software there yet. Yeah, that may change.
So, of course, that may change. Yeah,
we need to discuss it, but we could, for example, think about having the latest toolchain, so the 2025B, supported for RISC-V in the software EasyIO repository. I'm not sure we want to make hard promises like this, but that's something we will at least explore for RISC-V in the coming months.
And one thing I had to say about the ARM stuff. So our architect script is too strict, because it matches both the capabilities and the vendor, and so we're missing out on a lot of CPUs because we do this strict mapping and we don't cover, like, we haven't included all these different vendors that offer the different options, right? So I got a new laptop, it's a Thunder X, right? And I'm getting generic ARM64 because the vendor doesn't exist in Architect library. Now I can fix that for this chip, but in general it's a problem, right? That it's too strict.
There was a good reason to start checking the vendor as well. It was necessary, I think, to discriminate between some some CPUs. But yeah, we should look at it again
But
and try to
I mean,
do it in.
I was going to look at this in the sense that, like, if a vendor exists, I'll check it. If it doesn't exist, I'll just go with like something like that, right? Something a little bit lighter than what's there right now.
Yeah, that could make sense.
Yeah, I have a somewhat better fallback, basically. Say, okay, it doesn't exist, then I'll just try to match it purely based on the features or something.
Yeah, that's what I was probably going to do. But I know that we did it for a reason, right? So I was aware of that. So the question is, like, this is tricky in general. So this architecture detection stuff, especially on the ARMs, where they like cherry pick what they want to support and not, that's going to make life difficult in that space.
Yeah, I have the same question for Zen 5. Is that also loading the Zen 4 one, or is it just generic?
No. So right now, if you use EESSI 2506 on a Zen 5, you should be getting the Zen 4 stack.
Okay, so that's
it falls back to the closest one. Yeah.
Okay.
That works well, I think, for AMD and Intel. But what Alan is saying, it doesn't work well for ARM.
Yeah, it works well if your newer CPU generation kind of is like the features it supports is a superset of a previous one, then I think it works well. And as long as it's not a new vendor name that we didn't put in Architect before.
I think for x86, we don't actually check the vendor name at all. For ARM, we have to. Yeah.
I think a minor comment on the previous discussion. I was thinking, I think I'm also in favor of trying to do everything to the module system, because I think users that are used to switching between different HPC sites are already going to be familiar with modules, but if we give them another client, an extra tool, they have to learn that might end up adding more overhead.
Yeah, I think we always need to make sure that things work properly for the people who don't use that extra tool. I think for power users who know the module system well and are happy to figure things out and read documentation, yeah, things should be working well for them as well. For people who are less familiar with things or maybe don't care how the underlying stuff is structured or worked, I think that extra tool could be helpful. So it's a different type of use case, I think.
Okay. No more on this.
Just in that sense, I mean, the module thing should come first, and then you can build on top of that, right? So unless I wouldn't like to go down the route of doing one thing for an easy command line interface, and then different thing then for modules. So then you have to maintain two different tools and reproducing the same capabilities in both to a large extent.
Yeah,
I see the CLI tool as an extra layer. So it would just be doing module commands rather than having the user doing those manually. Yeah. And maybe with a bit more fluff, a bit more helpful messages, pointers to documentation around it. But underneath the covers, it would do the same thing as we would be doing manually. Yeah.
Okay. Then we can continue with this section, user experience integration.
Maybe you can try bringing up that mockup, Thomas, if that works.
Yeah. Try again, by breaking down again. Stop this. And then I guess you have. Get it somewhere in the chat, right? Like, okay. Yeah.
This is just a mock-up of what it could look like in the EESSI documentation. Where so to me, the view here is different as you would see in a terminal. If you do module avail, you see a lot of stuff, and it's largely software name based, but you see all versions and you see a whole lot more information. This is more of a filtered view, which is more focused, I would say, on what most people care about, which is the software they want to use. So the search box on top lets you search I think this only search based on software name. I'm not even sure. What happens if you put ARM in there? It's almost in that search. Okay, so that's probably the most sensible thing. Whatever you put in there, it just filters it down based on matches, whether that's a match in the CPU field or a match in the software name or a match in the description, whatever. So this is a bit more of a dynamic thing than this very static and perhaps even largely useless table we currently have in the EESSI documentation. And if you click one of these, and the only one that works is the Quantum Forge one, yeah, that will bring you to the secondary page that we already sort of have, but also those pages can probably be improved quite a bit. When you talk about specific software versions, corresponding modules that you have, which CPUs, GPUs are supported, and so on. And in the end,
improvement I can think of is the versions of the EESSI stack that the module is included in.
Yes, so that's not reflected here. Yeah. But that should definitely be exposed somehow. Maybe a separate table per EESSI version, or
Oh, it's probably just a third column in environment modules.
Yeah, whatever makes most sense. It depends a bit on how
no
many.
No module will be in more than probably 2 or 3 versions of the EESSI stack.
No, because
unless the software is really very static and not evolving anymore.
Yeah. Well, the toolchain names are going to be different across EESSI versions. And I think this can actually be done quite soon with the current information that we have, but we'll also build, let's say, an extra a bunch of metadata for all of the software and all of the installations we have in EESSI, and expose that also through not only the documentation, but eventually this could also be exposed through that EESSI CLI interface. And doing that through modules would be a challenge, I think. So that you can, for example, look up, you know the name of the binary, but you don't know the name of the software or the module that you have to load. So doing those kind of searches could also be useful for end users.
Yeah, like who provides this library or who provides this binary.
Yeah. Or which modules can I load to get a header file, a library name, a binary name. Yeah, you can go quite far with this.
Hey, going back to this, last on the list is community outreach sustainability.
Maybe since we have good attendance now, it's a good place to ask this question about the happy hour sessions. I think we're keen on keeping this going. Does weekly make sense? People don't have to join all of them. They can cherry pick or whenever they have time. In that sense, I think it's good to have them weekly so people can drop a couple if they don't have time or if they have other stuff going on, but they get a quick next possibility to join a happy hour. I mean, for us, Thomas, I don't think these are a lot of work to prepare. We usually have a couple of slides, but I mean, it doesn't take that long.
It depends. I think we put quite some effort into it, although we tried to have this presentation not too long, so maybe 15 minutes, but I think sometimes it was already also 30 minutes. I think we tried always to have some demo or so in it. And so if you want to make sure that things work, I think there's some effort, but at least for the first time that you do it. Yeah. My hope would be that it's becoming a little bit less time involved, and maybe that we also have like the EESSI Christmas wish list edition, where we just meet and have no slides presented and just
discussion.
Everyone brings a topic or so, and then we have an open discussion.
Or guest speakers, right? We had a couple of those towards the end of 2025. I think quite well. Yeah.
Also, it would be very nice if we can like hear from users, regular users trying to use Easy, having some issues. Like we are more now in this meeting like system admins or Easy maintainers, but having or hearing real issues from regular users is very interesting. So
Yeah.
Or just people who are entirely new to the project and have a fresh view. I think that's always very useful to hear from them, that they're coming into the project. Like, did the documentation make sense? Can you find your way around? So that kind of feedback is very valuable and hard for us to see ourselves that things are missing or that things are hard to approach. Like Michael, for example, you just jumped into the Slack very recently. So the feedback that you may have either today or in a future session or through Slack is definitely very valuable.
I definitely have more over the future sessions because what I gathered from the Reframe Slack channel and the conversations I had there, I think with some of you, were mostly about the test suite and the benchmarks on top of Reframe, but I was not aware of the overall service of Easy. So that I need still to get familiar with over the coming weeks. And thank you for letting me know that here in Chineka we will be adopting or installing the Easy software on Leonardo. I wasn't aware of that. So, but yeah, I think I definitely have more feedback over the coming weeks as I start playing around with the tool.
Yep. Yeah, that could also be an interesting happy hour session, right? A fresh look at Easy from a newcomer, let's say. I would think that would be very interesting.
And Michael, if you think of any topic, just reach us on Slack or any of our channels, and we'll try to include that in the Easy Happy Hour. Like I was thinking maybe next Monday we can do again, we can start a brief summary of what Easy is, how it works for newcomers. It could be good to show what Easy is. Also give a small highlight about Easy versions and the tool chains, because now we are adding more and more software into the Easy 2025-06. So it could be an interesting topic for next week.
Yeah, because I'm mostly approaching this, at least for now, from the benchmarking point of view. So we have different systems, our applications run on different systems, and sometimes we want to do both performance monitoring and regressions across the HPC systems with some of our applications from the COEs. So one point of interest for me was actually the collection of the benchmarking data. Given that we have many different HPC systems also spread physically distant apart from one another, it'd be nice to. I was curious to know whether there is how you collect the benchmarking data, whether now the benchmarking data is collected directly on the host system where Easy is installed, or whether it can be centralized on a server. So that data from the benchmarks, same benchmarks running across the different HPC systems, can be collected on a single server and visualized.
Yeah. Have you seen the dashboard we have for the test suite?
Yeah, I've seen the dashboard. Yeah.
Yeah, that's essentially what that is, right? We collect test results from various systems and bring them together so you can compare things there. Yeah.
Okay.
So just to add to that, we do that in a two-stage approach. So the reframe configuration that we use actually stores it locally on the system where we're running it. And then we have a separate script that pushes it into a database that is centralized.
Okay. The database is NESQL.
Oof. What is it again? I think it's an Elasticsearch database.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Hey, final comment.
Do
More
you think
minutes.
there's a need for stopping the recording and then asking more questions, or?
Why not? Maybe.
If yes, so that I can stop the recording.
Yeah, let's wrap up the recording here and see if anyone's holding back.
Okay.